Today on the show, we talk about many things because it's been a long time, and my guest today is the wife.
Hello.
Roll it.
The Something Else Podcast.
So here we go. How many months has it been since you've been on a podcast, Sam?
I don't think I've been on one since we moved house.
Yeah, so today is officially, a year since we've had the keys?
One whole year.
A whole year.
It popped up on my phone with the kids in the very empty house.
Yeah, that was eventful because we viewed the house and then we walked around a place called Chasewater, which is full of trains.
Ted's
And then-
heaven.
Yeah, Ted's obsessed with trains. Like that does that meme? It's not meme. It's a cartoon, isn't it? I like trains in
I
ASDF
like
movies. Holy
trains.
shit! But he was obsessed with that, and yeah, so that's his thing. And then you got a notification saying that the offer was accepted, and yeah, it's been a year since then.
Yeah, it took 6 months for it to go through and stuff, but
Oh yeah.
it took forever, didn't it?
Well, didn't like the original owner have to prove like her husband was dead because everything was still in his name or
Yeah,
something like that?
like that.
Quite sad, really, when you think about it.
Yeah,
But it's ours now.
it is.
What
So-
kind of decoration is this stuff? Artex or something?
Yeah, it's got
The whole
Arctic.
house is full of it.
Great stuff.
Like, literally, apart from, like, we're recording this in the living room, and the only part in the living room that doesn't have it is, like, the chimney
chimney
wall. What's it called? The chimney breast.
Yeah, the chimney breast.
And pretty much that's it. Oh, and the bathroom.
The bedrooms haven't got it in.
Oh, well, yeah. But, like, everywhere which you're normally going to see. Like, if a visitor came, they're going to see it's nice. I like it, but the light catches every crevice of it, man.
Well, technically, hallway is now Artex free because it got ripped down.
Yeah, well, a cool story, and you know, we'll dive into the whole house thing. But the to try and paint a picture, our front door is directly underneath our bathroom, and the waste pipe has like a cavity wall or something.
Yeah, it's just
And there's like a little wall next to our front door, which has got a window, and next to that is where this pipe goes down. And from what I can like figure out with my superb DIY skills and my home renovation skills, is someone's clearly gone through the wall with a drill and hit, was it a soil stack?
Yeah.
By the way, I know nothing about houses. I'm out my limit. Like, my depth is,
You're doing well with your DIY in the house.
I put up a shelf.
It's a
I
very
put up
good.
many shelves.
It is a very good shelf.
But yeah, so basically the soil stack had been hit by something and it's got a crack, just like it was the worst cracker than a builder sort of thing.
Yeah.
And so basically whatever went through that waste pipe was just coming back out slowly, and the whole wall, even the support things.
There's the brick wall behind it as well. That's all been
Yeah, it was super soaked. So we had to have that replaced, and now we got a big old piece of plasterboard just covering it all up, which is nice.
It's better than the Artex.
Oh god, yeah.
No.
And plus we've got a massive gap where a ceiling used to be because Sam's dad decided to fall through it.
Oh god.
I mean, it was
Anyhow.
completely by accident, but you know, when you're there, you're like, oh, just what we need. Freaking no ceiling. So when you're having a shit, Ted's calling like, what are you doing? You're like, I'm having a poo.
I can see you.
Pretty much. I mean, it's not as bad as it was because we've covered up most of the gaps, but still,
Yeah.
it's still horrible.
One day it'll be finished.
But yeah, so it's a year, and it's like I said, I am well out of my depth with the whole house thing. Like, I can repair many things. There's nothing I won't really give a go, but like, you know, when it's there and it's a learning curve, obviously.
Yeah,
curve, whatever it is.
Learning curve. It's daunting, isn't it? At the end of the day, like it's not something that both of us don't really do. I mean, I work in construction, so I know in theory what to do, but I don't physically know how to do these things. It's just a good job that Dave is a man of many trades, and we can use and abuse him.
Well, yeah. I think with me, I mean, I work in childcare, so it's not a very well paid job anyway. But I think it's almost demoralising when you can't do something. especially in a house, because it's kind of like, I mean,
What,
the
the
whole
money side
the
of it?
days. You what?
For the money side of it, because
No,
it's
not the
expensive.
money side of it, but just generally like, if you go like the old days, like the man of the house and the man does this, man does that, and I'm like, I can just about put a door on a hinge. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but you can do it.
Oh, I could do it. I mean, I'll make some mistakes while I'm doing it,
It's-
but I think it's just shown me all the skills I've ever learned and the ones that I need to learn.
yeah, I mean, I don't know how to hang a door. I can try, but I don't know how to do it.
I know, but typically, like, if you look at a very, what's the word I'm looking for?
Stereotypical.
Huh?
A stereotypical.
Yeah, I guess if you
thing.
look at the stereotypical view, it is kind of like, I guess it's kind of, you should know because you're a man.
Mm.
Oh no, it's 2023 and being a man doesn't necessarily mean you're a man,
True.
because that can be offensive. I can be offended if I want to do. If someone called me a man.
Or should I have to call you a man?
No, because I find that offensive. Now, we shouldn't mock, but that's how stupid it is sometimes. And that's the joys of having a house.
Whoop, whoop.
But yeah, it's what about you? What other things of the house? Like if someone's going to buy a house now, like some young couple or whatever, or just generally a new house person, what would you give them? What advice would you give them?
Don't do it. No. Just if it was me, I'd save more money. So when you or do it before you have kids and stuff like that. Only because to get it the way you want it takes a lot of time and a lot of money to do it. And you know we've got two young kids, and it's very difficult to do anything. You can't even wash up half the time without them clinging to your legs or whatever. So you know it's yes, just like we obviously want to get the house the way we want it, but like I say, it just takes time and effort and money. But yeah, my advice would be save as much as you can, do it as young as you can, and yeah, about it.
Yeah, I mean, I was obviously the whole podcast for today or tonight. I did that little update thing on TikTok and whatnot. Yes, it's something else is on TikTok.
Whoop whoop.
But I did a whole thing where it was like questions for the podcast.
Mm.
But after that, I was like, I'll just do some Googling about like houses and all that. And then I found this thing, and it was should you buy a house because you want a house, or should you buy a house that's fit for purpose? I.e., should you buy something because it's there and it's a house like there and then, or should you buy it thinking of, but what if I have children, or what if this? Does that
Well,
make sense?
If you're buying a house, I would definitely say you have to think of the future, because it's an investment. It's a long-term investment. It's a long time for your mortgage to be paid off and stuff like that. You've got to think, I'm going to be here for a little while at least. You know, if you don't, unless you want to start moving houses and stuff like that, and or have like projects. But again, if it was me, we bought this house because we have a family and we're in it for the long run. Whereas some people buy the houses to do them up and sell them on. So for me personally, it would be the longevity of it.
Yeah, I guess it's that. It, like you said earlier, it's an investment, isn't it?
Yeah.
Because it's every day. You know, I mean, owning a house, you can do whatever the hell you want.
Yeah.
So I guess it's yeah. I guess it's everyone buys it for a different reason, don't they?
Yeah, of course. I mean, what would you buy it for? If you were starting from scratch again, would you buy a house to do them?
I'd buy a house just for space.
Yeah.
Like with the stuff I like doing, you know, the music, the photography, and now woodwork and all that. I'd want space. That's all I'd want.
Yeah.
You know, what I mean, it really wouldn't bother me as long as I had a bit of land where I could build like a shed or a workshop, or have a garage or something. As long as I had that, I really couldn't care.
Yeah.
The only thing I hate about our garage now is that it's connected to like next door's living room.
Yeah.
Whereas before, the house we was renting, it was separate. Like, I mean, it wasn't
no,
separate.
it's still connected to his living room.
Yeah, but it wasn't like it was here. If that makes sense. Like, to me, it was the one we've got now, because it's almost like flush.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's just a bit of a nightmare.
Yeah. We just need to soundproof it, I think. And then you can do what you want in there, can't you?
Well, yeah, that's all it is. But we'll move on from the house. Because on the update status thing I had 2 questions. And we'll start with I mean, they're going to trigger people. I mean, I put that thing on TikTok and it already triggered one person. Because the questions were, should you be prosecuted for misgendering someone? And the other question was, is comedy dead? And their comment was, obviously not, because I assume that's how they speak. It was like, obviously not is the answer for both of those. And you don't need a podcast to tell people that anyway. I was like, you know, I spent way too long thinking of something to say to him, so I just put thank you for your comment. It's
Only
like,
you can say to those type of people.
the thing is, if someone literally writes with quotes, I might add, obviously not, then they haven't looked the other side.
no.
That they're always looking in one direction.
Yeah, of course.
You know, they don't go to a forest or a wood and see the forest. They see a tree.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's what they see. It's not even black and white. It's just the one colour.
It's tunnel vision, isn't it?
Yeah. And so it's going to trigger people, let's be honest.
Mm-hmm.
But my question is then, we'll start with the one that will get many people offended.
Go on then.
Misgendering.
Mm-hmm.
Should you be prosecuted? And I don't mean have like 5 years on your life in a prison. I mean, should there be some legal action against misgendering someone? And the reason why I put this up there is because I forgot his name. Is it Jordan Peterson or Peter Jordan, something like that? The Canadian psychology dude that's always proving things wrong. Well, not proving things wrong, but always having debates about this very thing. And but I love watching him anyway. And then you got that is it, Ben Chaperone or something like that. There's loads of these dudes, and Charlie something, or I've got Charlie Cook in my head, but that's a Julia Donaldson story.
Did you read
Charlie
that?
Kirk or something like that. But there's loads of these people that are like, there's only two genders.
Yeah.
Which I believe. And the very thing, this as to why I wanted this question was because flicking through these things, and then I kept seeing it on YouTube with people like, this is wrong.
Yeah.
Don't know the person's name because I can't stand them, if I'm honest. Because not only do they cause up a fuss about having the wrong pronoun used, but they're filming the whole thing. So they sit down at the dinner table or restaurant table,
waiting for it to happen.
Camera, and they are literally baiting someone into it.
Yeah.
Because then they got it on camera like, oh, you misgendered me. Because for some reason they're pirates. What are you going to do that for? The one they did was, this person was sitting there. They is a bloke, but they is going by no bloke. So they be a lady. And got the camera set up, and this person comes. I was like, "Oh, can I take your order, ma'am or ma'am?" Because they're American.
Yeah.
And then come back, like, "Oh, thanks, ma'am." He's like, "I'm not sir. Sorry, let's say sir." And he's like, "I'm not a sir. I'm a ma'am." Like he's got a deep voice. It's like, "Hey, baby," it's like that kind of voice. And they're like, "Oh, I'm sorry." And he's like, "Can I speak to a manager, please?" And then,
why is that?
But then he's there, and like the part of the video is like, it's like a knife in the heart every time someone says it. Then at the end of the video is like, there's nothing like a good misgendering. And I'm like, if you're trying to raise awareness, don't be a cock about it.
I think if you are still look like a bloke, and you know your natural reaction, especially somebody in that type of industry where you know you have to be polite to people, like
but a lot of people in that kind of business, they are taught to respond with certain ma'am.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's how they're taught. Like it's polite. Was it etiquette?
Yeah.
Is that the word I'm looking for? But they're trained to have that professionalism.
Yeah.
But I think that the problem was this person, squarer shoulders than me, beautiful jawline, but they're stereotypically dressing in female clothing, right? And there's one video, and it just sums it up, because like they're in the restaurant, and someone comes over, and they say sir, and like, I'm not a sir, I'm a ma'am. Gets the manager over, and they're like, I've just been called sir, and the person goes, yeah. And you can just tell by that one side, they're like, for God's sake.
Not again.
And I'm all up for being called what you want to be called, but the problem is now, I've said it before, grey area.
Yeah.
Like, I'm all about go all in or don't do it.
Yeah.
Like, if you want to be a woman, get your cock cut off.
yeah.
You know, get the boob implant, whatever you want to do. Because you could get it all done on the fucking NHS, probably.
Probably.
Because, my mental health. I'm like, I've lost my hair. That ruined my mental health. But you know what I did? I did think that caused offence. I manned up.
You grew the beard.
I grew a fucking good beard as well. It's grey now, but I grew a beard. But my point is, it's like...
In my view of that would be, if I was the server, even if I was that person, I'd be like, right, okay, you've misgendered me. I'd be like, sorry, I am a madam, and the server went, oh, I'm sorry, well, I'll call you, a madam from now on. If they continue to call me sir, then I'd probably...
Well, the thing in these videos, they do apologise, but it's the person that's still bringing it up. And they're like, I am sorry.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, if I sat in a fucking restaurant with a dress on, with beautiful lashes and makeup, but I've got this sweet beard and a bald head, I'm going to look like a bloke in drag.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying it's a bad thing. If that's how you feel, do that.
Yeah.
But my thing is that they need to commit. Like, you need to be 18 to literally change your gender.
Yeah.
And I think... Technically, if you go by, was it the Human Rights Act or whatever it is, it's essentially a form of harassment if you refuse to call someone by their chosen gender. Did you know that?
I didn't know that.
Yeah. So, like...
Yeah, but like I said,
discrimination, and harassment.
Yeah, I get the discrimination if it's a continual thing. Like, if I accidentally called you ma'am and you were sir, I'm sorry, I'll change my ways. But if I continue to do it, then you get like if it's in the workplace, then you start getting disciplinary and stuff like that.
In a workplace, it's different. But I was like, say if you're just in
general
public and like, for instance, I'm opening the door for someone.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, there you go, miss. I'm not a miss, I'm a sir.
Yeah.
No, sorry, I'm not a miss, I'm a sir. That's the best high pitch I'm gonna get. And it's kind of like, where's the limit to it? Because in the end of the day, we are human.
Mm-hmm.
We respond with what we see and hear.
Yeah, of course.
So, for instance, you hear a loud bang. Naturally, growing up where I grew up in, like, bloody middle of Brum, you're going to expect gunfire.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Excuse me. If I see a shadow running past, like, in the corner of my eye, I want to think, fuck me, something's there.
Yeah.
It could just be, I don't know, a giant Barbie doll that's falling down. But no, to me, that was a monster. That's friggin' boogeyman over there. And that's the thing. Like, I'm trying to just, like, summarize it, because it's that, for me, it's that much of a misunderstanding that it constantly, like, teeters on it, because the amount of... Is it in America now where, like, the amount of... I think we spoke about this with prison babies, because the amount of men that are having... changing genders, going to female prisons because apparently it's easier, and now they're knocking them all up.
Yeah, it's just ridiculous.
It's like
absolutely ridiculous.
I was talking to people at work, like, what is gender? What is sex?
Mm-hmm.
Now, sex is what you are technically born as.
Yeah.
So
what you legally are.
Yeah. So, for instance, you're a woman, I'm a man, or male, female. Gender is a social construct.
Yeah.
Which is determined by things, appearances, really, by what we see. I.e. long hair on women, beards on men, skirts on women, trousers on men, high heels on women, boots on men. That sort of thing. And it's a social construct. I'm saying that with quotes because everything's all fucking wrong, apparently. And my whole thing is, that's fine. Because I've always said, if you like something, do it.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like with guitars. You get these elitists like, oh no, you need to buy this $4,000 Les Paul standard, whatever. I'm like, nah, my little Yamaha that I've had for like 20 years now, bloody hell, is fine for me. Does what I want it to do.
Yeah.
Does that make it wrong? No.
No. It's what, I go into guitars and stuff. It's what you want, essentially. It's the same for, like, I've got nothing against people changing their gender or whatever. It's when they force it on other people and you think,
and make up a fuss.
Yeah, it's the kicking up the fuss part. I just don't agree with, like I said, if it's bordering on harassment, then yes, it should be penalised, essentially, because it's harassment. If I continue to call you sir when I've been told 1,000 times, no, I'm a madam, then yeah, of course, it should be penalised. But again, that'd only be picked up in like workplaces, or if turn around like I don't know on social media or something like that. It wouldn't necessarily be in the general public because you wouldn't see that person again.
It's like, I love watching the videos where it's the average person, to put it in a broad spectrum, and they're like talking about identifying as whatever, and there's one video, and to me it does highlight sometimes just how moronic it is. Where this woman they were talking about abortions, and this woman was like, "You have no right to talk about abortions." The man's like, "Why?" He's like, "Because you can't carry a baby." He's like, "Oh well, I identify as an ovary carrying man."
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with him identifying as that because he can.
Yeah.
And it's like, my thing is, apparently I'm a cis male. Now, cis male just means I identify as the sex I was born as.
Right.
But I'm a male. Like, yes, technically I'm a cis male, but I identify as Ben, a male, heterosexual male. But for some reason, the community has a problem with that because, no, you're a cis male. I'm like, I'm not the one labeling right now.
No.
You know what I mean? I work in an environment where you're not allowed to use labels.
No.
For instance, that child is not naughty.
Right.
They are demonstrating naughty behaviour, but they are not naughty.
Yeah.
That child isn't that isn't the autistic child.
Yeah.
That's the child with autism. You get what
Yeah,
point I'm getting at? So I frown upon labels. And I don't know if it's just me, but that whole thing is all about bastard labelling.
Yeah, of course it is.
The longest damn name for the flag. I'm nothing against it, but just come on, there's got to be a universal word.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I don't know, is Cassie adding little letters to the end of it?
Yeah, and I get it, to be fair. But at the same time, like, I'm not saying there's two genders because, there
could be a cat.
But again, that's not a gender, though. That's trans species.
Oh, God, I don't even know that one.
Don't get me started on trans species, transabled, or whatever it is. Don't get me started on any of that shit. But it's like, I just find it really baffling that stuff like this hasn't got anywhere.
It's still very new, though, isn't it? Like,
it's really not. Like, I can't remember what act it is, but one of that
popularity of it is very new.
Oh, it's become a trend.
Yeah.
I mean, it's evident it's become a trend. But it's like, where does it go? You know what I mean? Because I think I've used this example before with people like, for instance, you're in a bathroom, and it's a genderless bathroom.
Yeah.
Now, in my eyes, I've never used a genderless bathroom. Sorry, but how would you feel? You're having your wee, and some bloke walks in just as a pee in the next cubicle. You can't see it, but there's nothing from peeping over or under.
You can't see if it's like
wall, like ceiling to wall high, then fair game.
Yeah, that's fine.
But how would you feel then? Like going to wash your hands as a bloke there?
It depends really, because I wouldn't feel too bothered by it if it was like the wall to ceiling stuff. But some bathrooms aren't like that at all, and you can see through, and you get the creepy blokes and flip it the other side, creepy women.
Well, to be fair, I remember at one of my works pies, right? Now, women's toilets generally have the longer queues. So I was having a wee, and I was like, I'll go to the cubicle. Some bloke was barfing up in the urinal.
Nice.
And men's toilets can be gross, right? This woman was having an argument with a fella on the phone while she's having a shit, right? The noises that came from that cubicle.
Well, she was in the men's cubicle.
Yeah, she came into our cubicle. Into our toilet, and she sat down, and I'm talking about Godzilla noises, like whatever demon she exercised that day or that night must have been horrific. And all the while she's shouting at a fella, like, "No, he wasn't." I had to stop peeing. I couldn't focus. I was like, but I guess it's one of them ones. Like, I mean, going back to the original thing. If we use it in an establishment or in a professional environment, should there be some form of prosecution then? Like, for instance, almost unplugged all of the microphones then.
Wouldn't have been a happy boy then.
No. So going back to it, like, would you say That there should be some repercussion. I can't speak, but yeah.
repercussions. Like I said before, if it starts bordering on harassment of these type of things, then yes. But in general, day-to-day life, in general public, when you're never going to sit like the waiter or waitress, if they are if they misgender you once, it's not a problem. It's just not a problem, is it? You just say, all right, sorry, I'll call you what you want to be called from now on. Fine. But if it's a continual thing, yes. And I don't mean like 2 or 3 times. I mean like 10, 15, 20, But I think that's the only. And like I said, I don't think you'd pick it up in general life. It would be, if you had like social media.
Yeah.
Because it's classed as bullying, isn't it?
Well, that's what it is. It's harassment. It's discrimination.
Yeah.
I mean, it's almost in the same. Well, it is the same family as calling someone a racist name. That's what it falls under because it is discrimination.
Yeah, that's what it'd be all classed under, isn't it? The discrimination and everything. So.
But I think the problem is the fact that you just don't know.
No.
And I think people are that scared now to say the wrong thing. They just don't say anything. So I have a plan for that.
Oh.
Use your fucking name.
Yep, I've always said that.
If you don't know what it is, go, excuse me, what's your name? They're like,
Bob.
Oh, it's Mary. You all right, Mary? Can you cough out the way? You're blocking the sun. You know what I mean? But we'll get away from that because it's just a can of worms I can't be bothered to look at.
Yeah.
So we'll move on to my next question. Is comedy dead?
No, but again, it's going back to your question before.
Or is it dying?
Yeah.
I
think they comedians can't get away with certain things nowadays, can they? It's like back in when we were growing up, even films, you watch them now and they're so dated and they're like, you sit there and you think, you would never make a film like this now at all. No, I don't know, like the scary movie films, you would never get away with those now. Or like Airplane and Hot Shots.
Airplane's awesome.
That type of film, you could not do it anymore. You just couldn't.
Well,
people get offended too often.
Well, the only reason why I bring it up is because I like watching Dave Chappelle, and he was getting cancelled on Netflix because he did this whole thing about transgender.
Yeah.
And if you actually watch it, it's really sad.
Yeah.
But also it's funny at the same time.
Yeah, yeah.
And then I forgot his name. It's a comedian. He's just got obviously. Just got his Netflix special, White Lad, or probably offended someone.
I don't have my phone with me.
I'll Google him. I don't want to call him the wrong name. Hang on.
Should I sing a song?
No.
Oh, what's wrong with my singing voice?
Just don't.
Oh, man.
Matt Rife. Got his name then. Matt Rife is a young comedian, and he's just had a Netflix special. I think it's like the first joke he does, and he's triggered everyone.
Oh,
By that, it's triggered every woman that's watched it.
right.
Because the joke essentially, in a nutshell, him and his, like, he goes to a restaurant or something, him and his mate or something like that. The waitress has got a black eye, and they're like, fucking hell. Like, they should put her in like the kitchen or something so we can't see it. And Matt Rife says, well, if she was in the kitchen, she wouldn't have got the black eye.
Yeah.
Bad joke, but hilarious at the same time because it plays on stereotypical values of women should be in the kitchen.
Yeah.
Right? And it's caused upset, like, oh, blah, 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 he's taking this, he's like, degrading women, all this stuff. And I was like, what the fuck? I was like, I'm going to play the bloody gender card now.
Yeah.
Pardon me. Female comedians, even comedian. Probably offended someone doing that now. But female comedians or comics, I'd say 11 times out of 10, they're going to do period jokes, humiliating men jokes, and fanny jokes, right? Generally, that's the way it is.
Yeah.
Right, from anyone I've watched, there's always a segment about said things.
Yeah.
And not one man complains about that.
No.
When they're shitting on men, not one man goes, oh, I'm offended by that, because you know what? It's funny.
Yeah, it is funny. You do. I'd say I have watched some of the shows of the female comedians, but you do get when they put the hecklers into the shows as well. They do like heckle to say like that's not right and stuff like that. I've seen that,
Oh,
but
I'm not saying that.
again, it's few and far between, isn't it? But
No, but my
It's
point
just not
is,
as-
it's like
it's not as
no female comic has been like cancelled because of
Yeah.
no disrespect, but a woman joke or
No.
a man joke. Sorry, where two comics that have told pretty badass jokes
Yeah.
are getting banned. Yet all the other stuff that's being said, you know,
yeah. It's just
and
Wash it
I think
over.
it's everyone is so easily offended to share their feelings on TikTok and everything.
yeah,
And it doesn't make sense because in the end of the day, you go in if you don't know who you go, if you don't know the material I can't speak, the comedian's doing,
yeah,
right? If you don't know their material, then you shouldn't be going.
yeah. It's like
For instance, Frankie
I was
Boyle,
going to say Frankie.
Scottish comedian. I think he's brilliant because
Mhm.
he is just ruthless. Like he is,
He doesn't
like-
hold back, does he?
he doesn't hold back, but he's very intelligent.
Yeah,
Like he
yeah.
knows what he's talking about. And every comic that I've watched that says something like these guys, they don't mean it.
No, at the end of the day, it's a joke.
Exactly, and I think that's what people are missing about jokes.
Yeah.
Or
I-
comedies, sorry.
I think like you said, if you don't know the comedian and you're going to go to a show and it's going to offend you, then that's your problem.
Mm.
Like if you go to a show and you know what the comedian's like, it's a different thing. You find it funny. If you don't
Well,
find them funny, why would you go to the
a
shows?
joke that I still find hilarious, and it's bad.
Mm-hmm.
When we went out with your works, and we was watching the comedian was right at the front.
Mm.
Man, I almost choked drinking my drink
Mm.
when he said this joke. And the joke was, he lost his virginity at the age of 12. And
Mhm.
everyone started laughing. He's like, oh, yeah, keep laughing. The abuse still continues.
Yeah.
I was in stitches. I was like, that was bad.
yeah.
And then it's stuff like Frankie Boyle's jokes, like the one-liners. And it was in, not News of the World. When they do the jokes thing and they stand on each side and throw.
Oh, what's it called? I can't remember what it's called. We're not being very good with remembering today. Are we?
Yeah, either way,
Yeah, yeah.
he was on this panel and they'll have topics. It's like things you shouldn't say at a dinner party.
Yeah.
Frankie Boyle walks up and goes, "Is anybody allergic to nuts? Because I'm about to put mine on the table." I thought that was a killer.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
I mean, that's mild for him. But I think it's just getting to a point now where, not just with comics, but you can be so easily offended.
It's with
And
everything,
I'm just
isn't
like,
it?
is it because, like, our generation, even though we're 90s babies, is it because, like, we just had a different upbringing where,
Yeah,
you know,
of course.
for instance, I was never told as a boy, you shouldn't cry.
Mm.
Like, my dad, an alpha male, like,
Yeah.
even he was like, if you cry, you let it out.
Yeah, of
It's like,
course.
don't hold it in. And that's coming from a man that was like a piece of iron.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
A very hard man, wasn't it?
And it was like, I was never brought up on this whole value of like, men shouldn't show emotion.
yeah.
And I was surrounded by 4 sisters of my mum and my dad.
Yeah,
So I got a good balance.
yeah,
And a lot of
course.
my mates are exactly the same.
Mm.
But now, like, holy crap. You know what I mean?
I wouldn't want to be a teenager nowadays. Growing up with trying to get through life and stuff like that.
Well, social
No, I
media
don't.
don't help
No,
because it's
not at all.
everywhere and there's too many keyboard warriors.
Yeah, of course there is.
But
It's
I
easy to
think-
hide behind, isn't it?
Well, I think that's the problem now. Like, back when we was little, we solved our problems face to face.
Mm.
You know what I mean? Like, if we had a scrap, like,
That was it,
if
yeah.
I had a falling out with someone, we had to scrap it out.
Yeah,
Where now you can just, like, meme things and, like, take a picture sneakily and do shit.
yeah,
You know what I mean? It's completely different now. And I think, moving on to this whole thing, there was this guy and he was like, he would be terrified if we went to war with this generation because these TikTokers and stuff, they're the
Mm.
people that are going to war.
Yeah.
He was like, I don't want them with a gun fighting the enemy because they'll die.
yeah. They
And
would.
I was just like, holy crap, he's so right.
They would. Imagine them trying to defend anything.
Mm.
This wouldn't work.
And I think maybe, I mean,
The thing is now, if you had what was it called? The when they had to sign up when they were younger to the army.
national service.
National-
That's right.
Imagine that now.
Mm.
It would be everybody because it wouldn't be just men.
No,
Well,
they'll be sitting in the bastard chair, vlogging the fact they're having their haircut.
Yeah.
Just about to sign up, yeah.
Yeah.
Like and subscribe, press that ringing bell. put that phone down now. Don't know why I was an American now. But you know what I mean? I don't know if it's just because there's more acceptance and obviously there's more awareness to the things that are bad.
Yeah.
But at the same time, like, comics make light of a bad situation.
Yeah, of course.
You know, if you can't see the light, you'll never get out of the dark,
Yeah.
won't you?
Yeah, of course.
And I find with comedy now, maybe it's just the generational thing now.
I do find comedians nowadays are more they will push for the offensive side of things, because the comics when we grew up, like your Lee Evans and
Peter
Kay and Michael McIntyre,
they were more, but those kind of comics is heavily based around life in the sense of family life.
Yeah, and now you don't really
No.
get them. You get the popular ones at the moment are the ones that offend people.
Yeah, and it's for that very reason. Oh my God, did you hear what they said?
Yeah.
Whereas like Peter Kay and Lee Evans and McIntyre and everyone, theirs was more borderline of the jokes we was on about before, like stereotypical jokes, like a woman's job, a man's job.
Yeah.
Like Lee Evans' whole thing about pushing the car when it breaks down.
Yeah.
And like he plays like the dumb wife, and he's like, "You still got the fucking handbrake on?" She's like, "I thought it was an air freshener. Every time I put it down, smell of burning goes away."
See, that's funny. But now, if a comedian said that, it would be offensive.
Yeah.
If he said that now, it'd get cancelled or something.
Honestly, like, it just makes you really wonder. It's like, what was that? Was it Eddie Murphy's Raw, where he does the whole age joke? Now, bear in mind, this is in the 80s. That joke's...
Yeah.
Because he was talking about, like, how like, you don't know who's got AIDS, but then his wife gives your gay friend a nice little on the lips because, like, you're best friends, and he comes home, he's like, just staring at her, and you're like, oh, you can't say that these days.
No.
I mean, shit, you can't call... I think his name's Charlie Kirk, but is that meme where it's like, prove me wrong?
Yeah.
And they were talking about something, and he's very black and white, literally in this thing, because he was referring to people of color as black and people of no color as white.
Yeah.
And this one guy's, "Oh, you're a racist." He was like, "What?" It's like, "How am I racist?" And he's like, "You're labeling them as black." He was like, "Isn't it Black Lives Matter?"
Yeah.
He's like, "It's not African Americans' lives matter. It's Black Lives Matter, isn't it?" And everyone's just like, "Oh shit." And I'm not saying you should go around calling people literally by the colour of their skin, because that's wrong. But I think we're losing touch on what's what.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
People just get very offended very quickly without seeing the bigger picture or taking into account that, going back to misgendering, that person doesn't know you, who's just misgendered you, and when they stop there and film them, it's just embarrassing for them and the person that's being filmed.
I think with the whole comedy and the misgendering stuff, I think because of just how big of a grey area it is, there'll never be any real ending to it. And I think it'll come in a big loop, I reckon. I think it will get so... People will get so annoyed and so, just fed up with it all. They'll just revert back to the norm. I'm quoting the norm. Well, with my job, I'm in a very female-dominated job.
Mm-hmm.
And generally, when there's a bloke in my profession, we're gay, right?
Yeah.
Generally, we're gay. Or there's something weird about us. Now, in my place, I'm a forest school leader, so I am like epitome of alpha male.
He's Hagrid.
I am bold Hagrid. I teach children how to use knives, axes, make fires. Yeah. Basically, I give children life skills.
Yeah.
Coordination. I'm all up for like play fighting with sticks and everything, because it's coordination.
Yeah.
It's social skills. There's so much to it. And I think, with my job, it's one of them ones where it's all about equality. Yeah. Right? I'm all up for equality, diversity, you name it, I'm all up for it. But, and again, this is my thing. If you can have, like, Gay Pride Month, or whatever it is. Yeah. Where's heterosexual month?
Well, exactly.
Or straight month?
Yeah.
Obviously, it does all those memes about Power Rangers, like, Power Rangers, time to morph up. It's like Red Ranger power. Mm-hmm. And it's like yellow power. It's like white power. Actually, forget what I just said. And you're like, But
It's
why?
true, though. Yeah.
And it's not like he's got a pointy hat on.
No.
And I think there's that thing. It's like I mean, this could go on forever, and I think at the moment we've just got a world where people are so easily offended because it's clout, isn't it? Really,
Yeah.
you
I thi-
know.
It's when you think about it, like nowadays, the kids that are growing up are so like sheltered from everything because
Mm.
they're not out and about, are they?
It's
Like,
funny
when
because
they-
you say that, but they can access anything.
Yeah, but they hide behind the computers and they can say anything they want. If you went out when we were younger, we went out and about to play and whatever. If you went down the park and started saying all these things that they say on the keyboard, you'd be battered.
Mm.
And it's the safety of a computer. It's the safety of
But
having
then
that screen.
what I've found now is what's worse is when it stops being behind the screen and it's in face to face. It's life threatening now.
Yeah, it
Like in Birmingham, how many teenagers was it now? 4 teenagers that have died,
yeah,
and it was in like the span of a week or something silly like that.
Yeah.
And it's because
it gets hyped
what
up
I've
so
found
much.
now is everyone is far too offensive.
Mm-hmm.
They can't handle emotion, even though they've got fucking safe places
Yeah,
and whatnot. But they're too offended. They can't handle their emotions, and they don't know what to do with it. Like
yeah,
they
They
don't
don't
know
know-
how to handle anything. They've got no life skills.
No.
And I think that, and the way schools, from what I can see, are teaching them now, it's like, I don't know, they just seem so ill prepared for life.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm not saying our education was any better, but at the same time, you're just there like, what's happened to the world? There's far more important things to worry about than being offended by your goddamn pronouns. Use your name.
I mean, people are dying of starvation all over the world. No, I'm gonna misgender you instead and get offended about it.
And get 1 million views on TikTok because all
what it
people
is,
want to
isn't it?
watch is just stupidness.
That's what it's about, isn't it? The views and the money that comes with it.
Mm.
That's what it is. So
But-
if you say something offensive, you're gonna get the view,
Mm.
and they're gonna pay you for saying it.
But the sad thing is they're the people that get listened to, and then it's the people that actually have a logical defense to something and reasoning they
Yeah.
don't get listened to.
Yep.
It's a shame.
It is.
But we are going to round it up there as we've been gossiping for almost 45 minutes.
Whoa.
So until then, we will see you on the next one. Stay safe. Be who you want to be. And that's all I've got in my head right now. Until next time, I'll see you soon. Bye.